Stockton, California is a city we've talked about quite a number of times on this channel. This city has built a reputation for having some of the highest crime rates in the entire state. If you were to Google most dangerous cities in California, don't be shocked if you see Stockton at number 1 on the list. Yeah, it gets bad, but it wasn't always like this. Back in the 1950s to about the late 1960s, Stockton was actually a nice place to live. How nice, you ask? Like the type of neighborhood where you could leave your bike unattended and it won't get stolen kinda nice. Up until about the 1970s, the gang-ridden areas were contained into small sections that didn't really affect the rest of the city. But this didn't last long, because these areas slowly affected other areas of Stockton, and eventually, by the 1980s, a good majority of Stockton was already considered a bad place to live. Gang activity got this city in a motherfucking chokehold. Throughout the years, we've seen a number of huge operations that were targeted at multiple gangs here in Stockton, California. Projects like Operation Hybrid Havoc, Bloodline, and Kryptonite have all been efforts made by the city to combat the rampant gang activity. But I can't lie, it seems like an uphill battle for the authorities when it comes to this city. Out of the 65,000 Asians that live here in Stockton, it's safe to assume that they aren't all striving to be doctors and upstanding citizens of the community. When it comes to Asian gangs, the city of Stockton has quite a few, but some of the notable ones are the Asian Boyz, Tiny Raskals, Oriental Boys, Westside Bloods, Loketown Crips, and much more. But in today's video, we're going to be focusing on a series of shootings involving the Asian Boyz and the Tiny Raskals, two gangs that we've talked about a lot on this channel, but it's impossible not to. But before we get into the video, don't forget to message me on Instagram if you have any video ideas for me. I also have a Discord server. I'll have it linked below. You guys could come by and just have a chat, discuss video ideas, whatever you want to do. Anybody is more than welcome. But without further ado, let's get into it. Before I hear like 50 comments about how you gonna use Long Beach Tiny Rascal gang music videos in the Stockton gang video, I couldn't find any footage, and it's just gonna be some footage that you guys can look at, okay? Not everything has to be literal. I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna get comments about it, but I just wanted to put the disclaimer out there. Most of the clips in this video are music videos from the Long Beach set, but come on, it's just visuals, guys. I'm not gonna get into the history of how these gangs came to be in this video. If you guys are interested in the origin stories of either of these hoods, I have dedicated videos to each of these sets on my YouTube channel, so make sure you go check out those videos after you're finished with this one. But to make a long story short, TRG and ABZ both originated in Long Beach and eventually spread out to other cities within California and the entire country. Stockton has been home to both of these gangs, and they have quite a number of subsets within the city. The Tiny Rascals pretty much push EBK, or Everybody Killer, but they do have close ties with the Oriental Boys in Stockton. But besides them, they don't get along with anybody in the city of Stockton. And this fact remains pretty consistent amongst all Tiny Rascal sets around California. The Raskals have never been known to click up, despite having lower numbers compared to their opposition. But that should tell you how many steppers they have to still be around. TRG established themselves in the city of Stockton in the 1980s, and they claimed the corner of Manchester and Monte Street. Since then, they've been stirring up a lot of beef with quite a number of hoods. The Asian Boys came into Stockton around the same time as the Raskals, and one of their notable cliques would be the Greensboro Crips. This subset is only about a 6-minute drive from the main stomping grounds belonging to TRG, so you already know shit was about to get cracking. And on the night of September 13th, 2003, it did. At about 9 p.m. on September 13th, Judy, Sofal, and Buntave were driving to the store in a blue Mitsubishi. The car belonged to Judy's dad, but another crucial fact to this story is the fact that this same car was frequently borrowed by Crazy George, a shot caller from the Asian Boys. Crazy George was Judy's uncle. As the three drove to the store, they stopped in the left turn lane at the intersection of Land Arc Drive and Hammer Lane. This was when a blue Honda with fully blacked out windows pulled up beside them. Initially, nothing happened, but as soon as the light turned green, at least 6 shots were fired from the Honda straight at the Mitsubishi. All 3 of them were hit. Buntave lost his life, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. Judy was hit in the back and spent a month and a half at the hospital and took 6 more months to learn how to walk, and Sofal was shot in the cheek and suffered a fractured jaw. The 2 that survived were able to identify who the shooter was, and it was T-Bird from Tiny Rascals. Even though the police already knew who T-Bird was, they couldn't find him, so the search was on. 2 months after the shooting, Stockton police were investigating another shooting that happened on Bedloe Drive. While staking out a van they believed to have been involved in the shooting, 3 young Asian males got in the van, and that's when the police performed a traffic stop. All 3 were interviewed, and one of the TRG members named Chun admitted that he was with T-Bird the night of the September shooting on Landark Drive. But Chun had no idea where T-Bird was, so he went to trial alone. Chun was only 16, but he was tried as an adult and received 55 years to life in prison. As for T-Bird, this man was still on the run. For now. It's a little unclear exactly when T-Bird was picked up by authorities, but on July 8th, 2013, T-Bird appeared in court with his counsel and pleaded not guilty. He fought the case for 2 more years, and eventually the murder charge was dropped down to voluntary manslaughter, to which T-Bird pleaded no contest. And I'm trying to wonder how he did that. If Chun went down for a body and got 55 years to life, how did T-Bird get the charge knocked down to involuntary or voluntary manslaughter? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment sections below. I appear to have a lot of lawyers in the comment section, so drop some game. But anyway, ultimately T-Bird was sentenced to 20 years in state prison for voluntary manslaughter, and on the other hand, Chun is probably still serving his 55 to life sentence, which is insane. T-Bird appears to be in his 30s or maybe 40s, so he'll be getting out about 60, maybe earlier with good behavior, I don't know. With that being said, while I made this video, I couldn't help but feel bad for Chun because he got way harsher of a sentence, let's be honest, and I'm pretty sure he has some action to get his case reviewed or something. Hopefully this video could, you know, shed some light on his case or make it resurface. I don't know how it works, but you know, we can only hope, right? In my opinion, I feel like he does deserve a review on this case for sure though. Like, look, come on now. T-Bird, who was actually a full-grown man at the time, got a lighter sentence, which says a lot, so. But it seems like the judge wanted to make an example out of Chun, which is understandable, but Jesus. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, making these videos can be quite depressing. I feel like it's always the same story with the same outcomes, and the only thing that changes are the names of the people and the city that it's happening in. This is a vicious cycle, and it's a generational one. It's sad to see how many young cats just throw their lives away in like one night, gone. And they're probably not even understanding the consequences of their actions while they're doing it. But I think it's important to touch on these stories because this should go to show you that this lifestyle is a dead end road. When have you seen me end the video in a different way? It's always either death or jail. It never changes. Occasionally one makes it out as a rapper, but it's such a, it is so, the percentage, the chances of that happening are low. But you know, I can only talk. What do I know, right? I've never been in that life. But, you know, it's just sad to see a lot of these guys just end up being forgotten into the system. They just end up in the system and eventually get forgotten. But with that being said, guys, let me know what you want me to cover next in the comment sections below. But until next time, I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace.